let's look at the solution. Well, that's the whole point of this whole class. I'm interested in a solution. I'm not interested in the differential equation. Differential equations comes from the physics. Physics tells me that, hey, you have to solve this equation, right? But then the question is, what am I going to get? What is a solution? Okay. Well, I mean, you've been doing solutions for a long time now as engineers. But let's write it. If I have a function such as phi, okay, that substituted, I go ahead and substituted, let's be careful in my spelling, into the dE, it can be PDE or ODE, I'm not specific, that results in identity. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have this up there, I had the general form written, so I'm going to write like this. Wherever I see y, I'm going to write phi of x, right? So it's going to be phi prime of x, and all the way to the phi to the power of n, x is equal to 0. So basically, wherever I see y is equal to this, so I insert it, and this will be my solution. You kind of know that already, okay? And so let me write something, and I'll discuss that. It will open some doors for us. For all x in an interval, interval I. Right there and then we have to discuss this, right? Because it's you kind of know what it is from your math, from your calculus, etc. But let's revisit this, okay? The solution is always associated with an interval, okay? But this doesn't mean that it needs to be from minus infinity to infinity, right? So let's write it over here, interval of a solution. And as I said, the solution is always associated with an interval. And this interval can be minus infinity to plus infinity. That would be fine. That may be the case, okay? Or it can be some numbers like a, b, and this is open interval. This means that these solutions are not defined at a and b, but right, between those two values, but not including those. Okay, that's an option. That's an open interval. The closed interval will be, now this time around, it's still the same, plus the value of an a and value of b will be able to satisfy. Okay, and it doesn't have to be, symmetric. So I can have like a comma b, and this can be closed, right? There's a bunch of different ones, but I want you to realize that. So whenever I talk about the solution, I also need to talk about the interval. Another point I want to make is solution curves. Okay, this is exactly what you think it is. You have a, you have a solution. Well, you can plot it. You're gonna get a graph of it, and yeah, that is the solution curves. Solution curves. Okay, so basically, graph of the solution in an interval that we define. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time over here, because when I start talking about the solution, the real solution to the ordinary differential equations, the first thing is going to be solution curves. Okay, so I will discuss this in much more depth, but over here my goal is to ensure that everybody's on the same wavelength as myself. Okay, now in addition to the solution has a lot of stuff to talk about. I can have an implicit solution, or I can have an explicit solution. All right. I kind of prefer actually explicit solution. Explicit, well, you know what the word explicit means in English, right? So it's basically, this is exactly what I want. So y is equal to the solution that I'm interested in, all right? But sometimes this is not possible, right? We prefer it, but I may get myself an implicit solution. Okay, let's actually write it. I failed to write it. This is an explicit solution. This is implicit solution. But I want to highlight something. The nonlinear ODEs that we're going to deal with typically will end up with this. It will not be quite possible for me to get an explicit solution. All right. So let me give it, fairly simple example over here. If I have a differential equation like this, minus x y y, right? The solution, this is fairly easy actually. We'll be able to solve this quite, in about a week of my teaching. But you're going to see that this is going to be a circle, okay, located at origin 0, 0 with a radius of r, and you can see c is r squared, right? So is this an implicit or explicit solution? This certainly is an implicit solution, right? Because I'm saying that x squared plus y squared minus c is equal to 0, right? I'm not saying that directly, but my goal actually most of the time is this. I'm interested in what is y. Well, I can write it, right? It's going to be plus minus square root of c minus x squared, right? Think about that, y squared. So I'm not showing you all the details, but I think you kind of get this. All right, so this is one kind of fast example, all right, to illustrate you that I can have both, and I'm gonna leave it to you. But this is a linear equation, so that we were able to obtain both implicit and explicit. Okay, you may want to take a look at that. All right, so let's go ahead and analyze a little bit more complicated case. Okay, but again, I'm cognizant that this is the first week and the drop is not over, so I don't want you to drop. So I'm still looking at fairly doable cases. Maybe not this one though. We'll see. Quickly, is this linear or non-linear? I want you to answer me. What is this? This is 1, so that's good. But this is 1, this is good. And g of x is 2 times sine of x, which is a function of x. Good, so this is a linear equation. So I'm going to actually go ahead and tell you what the solution is, because this is kind of not that easy. So y is equal to 4 sine x minus x cosine of x. Let me correct myself. I don't mean it's hard when we're done with the course. I mean right now in this instant of time. So what I'm going to do is, let me, at this point, I want to just verify it. I cannot really solve it because I didn't teach you enough, but I want to verify it. So let's do this. Why don't we just take this and plug it into here and in here. So look at the left-hand side. And this is obviously an explicit solution, right? Y is equal to, some kind of a function of x, right? So let's see whether this is an explicit solution of that differential equation. So let's do the left-hand side. For the left-hand side, let me go step by step. Let me first do the dy dx, okay? And what I'm going to get is, the first is going to be sine, the derivative of sine x is cosine x, right? I don't have a negative sign in front of it. What about x times cosine x? That will be, first I'm going to take x, it's going to be cosine of x, and the second component of this is going to be minus x is going to stay. What is the derivative of cosine of? It's going to be sine x, but a negative sine x, right? So this will be the first derivative, but the question doesn't have the first derivative. So let's look one more time. Let's take one more derivative of that. 4 cosine x, so that's going to be minus 4 sine x. Cosine x minus minus plus sine x, right? And the last term is going to be sine x for the first one. The second one is going to be plus x times derivative of cosine of x. Okay, so this is the first term. The second, what I mean by first term is this term, right? But I need to also add y to it. Let's change colors. So basically I'm going to take this. I'm not going to rewrite it, but I'm going to take this. So that's going to be d squared y dx squared. And I'm going to add, but the solution is 4 times sine x minus x cosine x. Okay, so let's take a look at it, what will happen. So the sine x, this becomes 2 sine x. Do you see I have a negative 4 sine x and plus 4 sine x, so these two cancel. How about this x cosine x? So I have a positive cosine x cosine x and I have a negative x cosine x, so that will cancel each other. So I get myself a nice 2 times sine x on the left hand side. Okay. What about the right hand side? Bam! That is 2 times sine x too. So this turns out to be the solution that I was after. Okay. So I was able to verify. But again, the goal of this course is not to just verify a solution. This is part of the process, but also I'm interested in finding it, how I go from here to here. Let's proceed. Let me talk about something that will be very, very important. Okay, we are gonna call this family of solutions. interesting family of solution. So I will actually have two types of solutions. These solutions, the first one is called the general solution. The general solution, what it will have is, it will have constants or some parameters in it. Okay, it can be, depend on how you look at it. And I can change this, and I will get myself a family of solutions. I'll be specific, and I will actually use this example because I already have it. I solved it myself. Actually, when I solve it, I don't get this. This is a special case of that. I'll talk about this in a minute. But when when you will learn this and when you will be able to solve this, this will be the solution that you're going to get. A times sine x plus b times cosine x minus x cosine x. So now this is the general solution. Why do I say this is a general solution? Because I have A, I have B. These are the parameters. Note that I don't have to have parameters or constants in front of all terms. I can have some. Okay, that's what I solved when I really did it myself. Okay, but what I gave you in this case was this: 4 sine of x minus x cosine of x. Right? So how I obtained this was I put a is equal to 4 and I put b is equal to 0, isn't it? I inserted those two values into here, I get this. So when I insert these values, very, very important, these are called the particular solutions. Although general solutions are nice, because thinking about from the student perspective, in an exam setting, if you get something like this, you'll be like, okay, I'm happy, I'm almost there in terms of the partial grade. But at the end of the day, if you look at the physics of it, I'm really interested in a particular solution, right? So this is important. I want you to be cognizant of that. Sometimes we have something called singular solutions. Okay, and I'll give you an example for that. So let's say that dy dx is equal to x squared of y. If I go ahead and solve this again, now in about few segments, you will be able to solve this. You will get this: y is equal to x squared over 4 plus c squared. That's actually the solution that I'm going to get, right? But here's the thing, and we can see this together. So y is equal to 0 is also a solution to this. Let's take a look. You see, when I insert y is equal to here, the right hand side becomes 0. How about d0 dx? That is 0. So you can clearly say that this is a solution. But I cannot really obtain this, right? If I put any value to c, because c is a constant like 1, 2, 5, 10, right? I will not be obtaining this. So that's why this is called a singular solution, right? This is actually not the best scenario for us, right? This is not the preferred case. We'll make those clear. It's coming up soon. And also, this is by coincidence y is equal to 0, but we also have something called trivial solution. And this trivial solution means that y is equal to 0. Just want to highlight that this is by chance. We were up till, So when y is equal to 0, we call it trivial solution, and y is equal to 0. If y is equal to 5, that is not a trivial solution.